Hey there, guys. Unfortunately, I guess we probably shouldn't have done the countdown if this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's no show this week. I apologize. We just kind of wanted to give you an update with what's going on, so, you know. April Fools!
That was a horrible April Fool's joke, man.
It was, yeah, well, you know.
You know,
I have to throw it in there somehow.
People need some stability in their life nowadays. This is their stability. We have 18 people watching today.
26 people
26. Watching. Okay, well, I'm glad to have you guys. Aren't we just jumping into the...
Yeah,
no?
We've got a make-off.
A make-off. Hey everybody, it's Tim
and Walker
at Full Spectrum Laser, and today we're going to show you how to
paint acrylic.
Ooh. Let's check it out.
In this how-to video, we will walk you through how to make your very own back-painted acrylic design with a full spectrum laser. First, we'll start by creating some vector art. I used Photoshop for mine. I used the lasso tool to create a foreground for my landscape. Next, I used the polygonal lasso tool to make some more jagged rock spires. I continued this process until I had a 5 to 6 color poster. The next step was vectorizing the image, but the gradients of the planets won't vectorize very well, so I just made all 3 of them the same color. That way, Illustrator can separate them pretty easily. We'll add our own gradients in the painting part of the process. Next up, I opened Illustrator and placed my image that I saved as a JPEG. Once I had it lined up, I used Illustrator's image trace tool to separate all the different colors into their own shapes. If you don't have image trace on your toolbar, you can add it by going to the window drop-down and selecting it. Depending on how large your image is, this can take a while. Once the image trace was done, I used Expand to find all my vector lines. After the image was expanded, I removed the colors and added a black stroke color. That way, when I saved the image out as a PDF, the vector mark lines were all that would get imported into Re3. Now that I was in Re3, I imported 2 PDFs. One was the vector mark lines of the image, and the other was a border that would get cut out. I lined up the 2 images and deleted the raster data in both. Vector lines are all we want here. Next, I entered my power settings and cut it out of some clear acrylic. Once it was cut out, it was ready for paint. For this part of the process, you'll need your poster, an X-Acto knife, spray paint, and some masking tape. Working my way from the foreground to the background, I began removing masking layers and painting each layer. It can be tricky as we're applying paint on the back, and the process is somewhat backwards. For the planets, I added a slight gradient of the sky color, purple in my case. Once dry, I added the color of the planets. This way, the purple gradient will look like a shadow. For For the gas giant planet, I removed the masking layer from the acrylic and added the same purple gradient. Next, I added masking tape in the shape of the gas bands like what you'd see on Jupiter. I removed each layer carefully and added my colors, making sure each layer was dry before moving on to the next. Once the planets were done, I moved to the sky. First, I held some white spray paint way back and spritzed the paint on for the stars. Next, I finished the colors by adding the purple sky. It can be helpful to add a few more layers of paint so any damage to the paint side won't show through on the clear side. Now that I was done painting, it was time to remove the masking layer on the clear side of my acrylic. Now we can see the final product. The gradients turned out great. Now let's check in with Walker.
Thanks, Tim. I'm going to show the same process just in a different way. Instead of creating my own design, I'm going to find one online. I'm going to use Inkscape as it is my preferred software. Using AutoTrace, I'm going to create my outline cut. I'm going to use AutoTrace again and adjust the properties to only pick up what I want for my details and vector marks. Now that I have my details, I'm going to clean up my outside cut vector. Selecting my outline, I'm going to give it an outset. This will make my piece less delicate once cut. Instead of hanging this piece on a wall, I want it to stand on its own, so I will be making a base for it to set in. I'll create the stand notch and join it to our main design. While taking the same width dimensions, I adjust my stand's notch to the correct thickness of our material, which happens to be 3 millimeters or 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm going to set that notch hole in the center of the base. I'm going to group my designs together and set my vector marks to cyan and my cuts to black. Remember to mirror your image vertically as we are painting on the back side. This is especially important with text. Now go File, Document Properties, and resize the page to content. Now time to print using the full spectrum print driver. This will send it to our laser control software, Re3 Engrave. On the left hand side, we'll remove the bitmap layer since we aren't running any engravings. Time to select our power settings. Remember, we want to vector mark the inside of the design and then cut around the outside. Let's start the job. With a low power, the laser only vector marks the surface, cutting only through the masking on the top of our acrylic. Reducing the current is important when vector marking. Now the outside will cut all the way through. Here we go! Like Tim covered, we are removing the masked parts one layer at a time and repeating this process for every color. I'm starting with black in this situation as it will fill the small vector marks. In my example, I wanted to show how to get two different looks with the same file, just different color paints. One gets light gray shoes, while the other gets yellow. Now time for the pants. One gets dark gray, while the other gets red. We'll add one layer over everything for a little protection. Time to reveal. This process really works great for bringing cartoons to life.
We hope you enjoyed this entry into our how-to series, and until next time, keep making.
Warning, technical difficulties.
We're back.
We're back! I hope you guys enjoyed that how-to video. I don't know which one I liked better, right? Definitely Tim's.
Oh, yeah.
Show it off, show it off. There we go, it's beautiful. I love that we showed totally two different things, like
Two different applications.
well, same
process.
Same process, totally different outcome.
Yeah. Different software.
Yeah.
Had everything.
It is very diverse. I loved it. What do you guys think is cool about that? If you have any more questions, put them down in the comments. Remember, we are doing all the Q&A stuff at the end of every live show now.
That's right.
And what else are we talking about today? We're going to do weekend builds because I had a pretty fun weekend build with lots of materials. And then we're going to jump in the software because we have some Re3 updates that we want to talk about, let you guys know about, just cover them in general. Some important stuff. And let's go to sweet new little bottom thingy.
Yeah, it's nice, right? I
Yeah.
did that today. Wait for it. Oh, there it goes. All right. Oh,
That's cool, man. Now, only if you charge the battery on the camera, that would have been cool
Hey,
too.
it was at like 80-something% when we started.
That was burning. You know what happens if I burn you?
Toasty!
Toasty! Everybody,
No,
everybody's
we'll
like,
get that
what
reference.
is going on?
No one will get that reference, but I love it. All right. So are we gonna do?
Well, let's do weekend builds. I want to talk
weekend
about
builds. All right.
Are we bubbles?
Nope.
No, we're not bubbles.
What am I looking at?
But they can hear us?
Yeah, they can hear us.
So this is the bottom sheet. This is actually neoprene. I started playing with rubbers. This, like, for different materials. Typically I stuck with wood and plastic, but Leave your comments down below.
To say, good thing we're not in bubbles.
Yeah. So next, this is neoprene. This is the bottom layer, and this is actually made of PETG.
PETG.
Tim likes to call it PETG.
Everyone who uses it calls it PETG.
This was a flat piece of material that
Trying to save you syllables, man.
that I heated up
Easier to say.
and bent, and I got this shape to go around my forearm because I'm building. You know, we'll see. What am I building next?
Black licorice.
Black licorice. That's not too exciting.
It's a fruit by the foot.
At this point, you need to guess what I'm making. Is the next one a total giveaway? It is.
Probably.
So then I used some Romark brushed aluminum material, layered it up, added some engravings of little bolts, and glued it to that PETG top panel. And then I used gold for the actual little strap holes. That's a 1/32 inch on the gold and 1/16 Romark brushed aluminum for the centerpiece.
Nice.
So it goes neoprene, that, okay. And then you move forward. Had to get the Batmobile in back, and then I did the spikes in 1/4 inch acrylic. Vector marked both sides, which was pretty cool. Slapped it all together, and that's what we got. Ooh,
Very nice.
So it's still in the prototype stage, really. I want to improve a lot of things about it. Do we have any more?
Yeah, 2 more.
Okay, that's a back shot.
You can see that black licorice wrapping around.
Mm-hmm.
There's another good shot right there.
There we go. The man cave with the heat gun in the back. The WD. There we go.
So you like Batman, huh?
I have this problem. I get into things and then I get really deep into them, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm over it. And then the next thing. It's like I learn everything about it. And then I'm on the next project.
When's the Batman thing gonna, when are you going to phase out of that?
Who knows? When I get super buff and I'm a billionaire and I have my own,
Nice.
back cave and stuff.
Fight crime at night.
Yeah. Hurt bad guys.
Become a vigilante.
Yes. So let me know what you guys think if you have any questions on that too as well. I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. Playing with different mediums, new materials. I never used PETG before.
PETG.
PETG is really huge in the social media because everybody is using it to make face shields with their lasers for the situation that's going on out there. So local hospitals are actually getting PPE from makerspaces and people like you who have lasers.
Yeah, and we actually made a post a couple days ago about, I think it was linked to like some patterns for you to make your own.
Yeah, some patterns. A gentleman that actually has one of our lasers made this post. He also, well, there's also a link to an actual website where you can sign up and figure out how you can help as well. So if you're into helping people and using your laser,
Best of both worlds.
yeah, just keep that 6-foot distance.
Right.
Yeah, air high fives all day.
Yeah, like when you send it out and like the delivery driver comes out, you just throw the box to him.
And if you feel a cough coming on, vampire cough, right?
There you go.
And that is our public service announcement for the day. Now, RE3 updates.
Oh yeah. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
let's jump into the software.
Oh.
Get rid of Tim.
Oh, okay. Here we are. We did it.
There we are. We are in the software. Remember, guys, we'll just come out of the software real quick. If you don't have a laser or you can't access
Yeah. Or
your
if
laser,
you're like in your house and your laser's it's turned off in the garage.
and you want to still design in RE3, what you can do is go to our website, FSLaser.com, click software, and try now. That will bring you to our online what software.
Yep. It's technically like considered a demo, but
you
it's-
can still save from there.
Yeah, you can still save from it, and like there's no limitations to what you can do. The only thing that you can't really do is send it to your laser immediately, from here.
Yeah, no controlling your laser, but all of the design features and the saving features are still amongst it.
Yep.
Amongst it. Amongst it. No?
If you say it more, it sounds like sounds more wrong than what
Oh,
I'm saying.
okay.
Amongst it.
We need a cue for Toasty.
I can only do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
full screen. Alrighty, so we're in the new updated software. This is update 2.21 of Re3. Now, if you
Whoa.
whoa, that's a lot of numbers.
That's a lot of numbers.
If you have the old software, Retina Engrave 3D for like the hobby laser, all of our older Pro units, you did not receive the update. On the other hand, if you haven't received your update and you have a Muse or a newer Pro with the touchscreen and you still haven't got that update, it's coming. We do updates in stages. Not everybody gets it all at once. Just in case something goes down, just in case, we just roll them out in stages.
Yep.
So you're probably still waiting on them. If not, I'll just wait a little bit longer, and if you're connected to a solid connection without any viruses or any sort of blocking, sometimes routers can block the updates coming in, so
We've seen that more than a few times where the ISP will kind of block your.
block the
Your
update from
connection.
coming in. And just contact support if in another couple of days, a week, you have not received that update. That's probably what's going on. If you're at a school or something like that, definitely their systems will block that update. For the most part, that happens all the time in a school setting. So just check that out. Call. I mean, I've heard people with their updates, they're like, hey, I want to update the machine. They literally pulled it out of the school, connected it, at their house, and then received the update.
Yeah, it's just all those security precautions and school
Yeah.
networks typically.
I mean, and
don't
some
mess with.
federal government situations have our lasers as well. A lot of aviation places.
Yeah.
So
It happens.
it does happen. One feature on the new software I did want to cover, which is pretty big, especially for the CAD guys, is DXF files. They are now drag and droppable. So here's one I created a while back.
So you couldn't import them beforehand?
No, you could not, Tim. You could save them as a PDF from your
Nice.
thing, but there wasn't just a drag and drop feature for DXFs. Now there is. At one point we had a setup where you'd have to use like a plugin for it, but now it just happens. It's pretty complicated. The Wi-Fi is pretty bad, but it uploaded fairly quickly, and yeah. So DXFs, they just have the vector data.
What's that supposed to be? I'm trying to figure out what it's supposed to be.
So I use this on the fiber, and I did a vector marking of like the moon,
Okay.
like kind of, yeah. Just found it online.
All right.
It looked cool in the
Some
moment.
kind of moon man.
It's the Moon Man.
The man
Yeah.
in the moon
Yeah.
with volcanoes or something. I don't know.
Volcanoes, yes.
Oh,
All right. It's getting hot in here.
right. Sorry, my bad.
Oh. Let's see. Also a new feature is the cost estimate. So we have a calculator in here for anybody who wants to. There we go. Thanks, Tim.
Not a problem. I got you.
Whoa.
Oh.
So we can do hourly rate, job time, material size, which is really cool because a lot of people ask, how much should I charge for this? I think this calculator really is a nice step between that question and the answer. And, hourly rate, I typically start at $25 an hour. Don't know about you, that's fairly standard for a graphic design. you know, a graphic artist, $25 an hour base minimum for designing, and then material costs per unit. You know, this is all arbitrary. You can make this up, or you can actually select it. So you put as many as you want on a piece of wood, and it will calculate the cost it takes to make each one. Setup charge, these are all set up for you. You can do whatever you want. Shipping charge, handling charge. It's just really cool.
Really, yeah, it's a really nice, very useful feature for, I imagine a lot of our customers probably do a lot of custom work.
I think if anything, this helps kind of establish, you know, that people do charge for, you know, setup charge.
Yeah.
Like, if you go from some guy who's running this out of his garage, you know, he doesn't get that much, you know, customers compared to like somebody who actually runs like this, these machines all the time. A setup charge is a real thing that typically covers your, you know, your expenses when it comes to running the machine. These are the type of things that you don't really necessarily like think about at first.
Right.
It costs money to run the machine.
Yeah.
Electrical, like maintenance.
Setup charges are super common when you're talking about like custom orders, like
Definitely.
something that they don't have a template for or like a jig for. You know what I mean? Like they can't just toss it in the machine and go. There's a little bit of setup there. You know,
Yeah.
a little bit of extra time.
And I mean, let's say you've never worked with this person before. They want this huge custom order. Typically what I do is I have a non-refundable deposit that's going to cover anything that I run, right? Yeah, I'm not going to lose anything. I'm actually going to make money because I have to, because I wasted all that time. It could be half down, could be whatever you think is fair to cover all your costs, plus some, because your time is valuable.
Yep.
Calculator is really cool. Another one is if you go up to modify, generate barcode. I thought this was cool. We could put just a very true fact in there, and then we generate that. And
I think you spelled something wrong.
no, that's why I'm the smart one.
I think you spelled a different word.
Come
Very
on.
wrong.
Is so? What part?
What?
What part's wrong?
You spelled dumb wrong.
Oh. You're so funny, Tim.
I'm hilarious.
Let's redo that. Internet's being funky. Oh, where was it? Modify.
Very funky.
Funniest man alive, and so.
As far as true facts go, I mean that's definitely closer.
Yeah, I would
The
say
truth.
so. We'll generate this barcode.
So handsome.
It's so handsome.
It's true.
Yep. You and your mom are believers.
I'm too handsome. Like that's why I'm in the bubble. Like
Yeah.
I'm too handsome.
You're contained.
Yeah. My handsomeness must be contained.
All right. Well, that's very slow right now.
Yeah, I think it's our internet. Our internet's been acting weird all day.
Yeah, I couldn't even browse the internet on Facebook. Anyways, we just jumped out of the software, Tim.
Oh man.
There are a handful more features. There's a list in our landing page if you got the email on updates. If there's anything on there that you want us to cover, well, feel free to comment on there as well. Now it's time for questions and answers.
Q&A.
Q&A time. Before I forget,
Oh yeah, we've got one. We've got a
Before I forget, Robert Parsons from Facebook, I hope he's watching because he said he's not too good at the Facebooks, which I understand. It's not even fun to be on Facebook right now, except for right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching the show is about the
Absolutely.
only thing Facebook's really good for, honestly.
At this point, yes. So Robert asks and says, hey guys, is there a chance one of the next laser TV times on Wednesday, which I love the way he put that, you can give details between the CO2 versus fiber, pros and cons for the hobby level lasers. It's a bit of a up in price, and I know the fiber is 3 times better and does deeper engravings on metals and lasts longer than the CO2. But are there any downsides to the fiber other than price? I know the CO2 lasers are 40 and 45 watt, but does the fiber equate to those wattages and cut the same thicker woods? I'm on the fence with a purchase. It's a great question.
It is.
So, when it comes to fiber, like the Muse fiber and the Muse hobby, like the Muse systems, the CO2s, totally different beasts.
Yeah, they're kind of really apples and oranges.
Yeah, so when it comes to wattage as well, totally different. So we're talking, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. The fiber is mostly for engraving metals.
Yeah.
It does not cut woods. It can cut thin metals.
Yep.
It's not really a cutting machine. What it's really good for is engraving metals like guns, stuff like that, firearms, anything you can think of. Like, I know people do badging, real deep engravings.
I've seen really cool metal business cards done that way.
Yeah, so it's going to be almost metal exclusive. It can engrave on leathers and polycarbonates if you have a specific, let's say you do glasses, lenses, right? Then you'll use the Muse fiber because it actually works with the polycarbonate. CO2 doesn't work on polycarbonate. So it kind of fits that niche of product.
Right. Yeah, you can't really view the fiber as like a more powerful CO2.
No.
They're really, it's like a lateral step.
Yeah.
More than a vertical step. Like you.
Definitely pivot. You know,
Yeah, it's a pivot for sure because they just do completely different things. And
yeah, completely different. And it does kind of, well, it is a bit confusing because you see the lineup, you know, like Muse 3D and then Muse Fiber, and you think,
and it's at like the top of the list as far as price, so you're like, oh, that must be like the most powerful one.
And unfortunately, it's just a totally different beast.
It is, yeah, totally different machine.
And
so the reason for that, just a little bit of science. It's a totally different source. So I mean, obviously CO2 versus fiber, but it's a different. The laser works on a different wavelength, on a different frequency. So it allows it to penetrate metal better than.
You're doing a great job.
Oh, okay. I'm like looking at you. I'm like, I know I'm right, but I don't know why I keep. Yeah. No, it works on a different wavelength, and it's just totally different.
Yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Robert. If you want to cut up to 1/4 inch thick wood, then the Muse CO2 laser is the one for you. You can still mark metal if you use Surmark, and you can still, let's say, this laptop here with the anodization, you can still remove the anodization. And
powder coat as well.
Powder coat. You can still do metal objects, they just can't be bare metal objects.
Right.
And that is what the Muse fiber is good at. So I totally understand the confusion.
Yeah,
it's very, if you have that application, that's what it's good for.
Right.
The Muse fiber is very good for expensive metal pieces. Do we have any other questions online?
Do we have an update from Phil by chance?
Update from Phil. So
we had a question, I believe last show, from Joshua Gravel, who asked under spacing when dealing with text what the character / /line values meant, and we reached out to one of our software engineers.
The head of software.
Head of software, yeah.
Mr. Phil Joy, the most wonderful man on planet Earth besides Phil. He said it's character and line spacing, distance between characters and words. And it is using the units that are currently selected.
Gotcha.
I mean, I put in the units and they kind of came out huge, but I didn't check the units, so.
I see.
That's what that is for. And who is that from?
Joshua Grable.
There you go, Joshua. I hope that answers your question. He's still getting back to me on even more details. So.
Yeah, it might just be something you kind of mess with. Photoshop has a very similar, actually most Adobe software has a very similar function where, you know, the character will probably be the lateral size of the character, like how wide the actual letter is, and then line might be, I'd honestly have to mess with it because I haven't had a chance to mess with it yet, unfortunately. Yeah, and Word might be spacing between letters. I think it probably just takes some experimentation. Yeah,
for sure. I will be honest with you, when it comes to text, I usually do it outside and then import it in because I do favor Inkscape at that point because our software is so new to me still.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just one of those old guys that prefers what he's stuck in, which is Inkscape, which Tim thinks is the weirdest software ever.
I don't think it's that weird. I think it's actually really powerful for being free. I just don't know it.
Yeah, so you were hating on
Illustrator since high school, so.
You're just a hater, dude.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you hate on me, it gets me really angry, and you don't want to see me angry.
Oh no, there it is. I couldn't get up to the top in time, it's all the way up to the top.
Oh, you're like clicking. Oh no.
I pressed the wrong hit make off.
Oh
again.
Man.
Okay, so Joshua Cornish asks, what is the correction level on the code generator, the barcode generator?
The what?
There was a drop down.
Yeah.
It said correction level. I think there's like low, medium, high.
That's great. Let's reopen the software. There's so many options in the software now. It's crazy.
It's hard for us to keep up, honestly.
Yeah, this is brand new to us as well. So let's dive into it and take a look. That was from Josh Cornish. Thank you, Josh, for watching, and thank you for all the kind words you say on Facebook all the time. He always says how much he loves the show and how it's kind of funny and informative, kind of.
Are you in the software currently?
I am in the software.
I'm going to just jump us over in there. There it is. Correction level low.
Alrighty. Asks. Correction level. I believe this is quality. For medium.
Changes.
And high. You know, I was going to have my phone on this segment and then actually read it.
Wait, hit low again?
Yeah, it's just, I believe it's optimization for other readers. That's what I believe.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
We actually haven't. I mean, it's a code generator. I'm sure that it works. But
I say pause it right here, and then use your code generator on your phone.
I don't know if
Can you do that, Tim?
I have a QR droid. There we go.
Did it work?
Just keep it.
Of course it works. If anything.
Yeah, it works. Josh Cornish asks. I don't know if you guys
can
see that.
Kind of. There we go.
There it goes. Josh Cornish asks. So, yeah, that works.
That's close. Cool. So we didn't really answer his question, but here, let's try this one.
Okay, so
we'll be extremely honest and just try all of them. But I believe they're optimized.
So you have that on medium there?
Yeah.
There it goes again. Works.
Works
just as well, yep. Yeah, it might just be optimization for a different
reader.
Can we go back?
Thanks for the difficult question, though.
Right.
How it work?
Yep, they all work.
Cool.
So yeah, good question. Not 100% sure, but they all seem to work. That might be another question for Phil.
Yeah, let me write that down for software. I'll take a note of that.
It also says the laptop's gonna die.
Laptop's gonna die. That's okay because we're jumping back out of the software.
Well, there we go.
Boom.
Maybe.
All right, cool. Thank you guys so much.
We got some more questions. Right?
Oh, we got more questions.
Yeah, come on, jeez.
Oh, it's just getting hot in this room, man.
All right. Lena Dyer says, "Hi, totally came in late, and I have questions about last week's video. How can I do turbo mode on my Muse Hobby? It's about 1.5 years old. I haven't updated the software because I've been unable to connect it to the web for some reason. But if I'm able to update in this RE upgrade, or only on the newer machines."
So if you have a Muse in general, you can update it. Like, who is that from?
Lena Dyer.
Lena, thank you for watching. So if you do have an older machine, as long as it's a Muse, it can still receive this update. I will say if you haven't updated it for that long, it will take a while to upload this new update. But if you are connected clean and clearly, no issues, then you will receive it. Since you haven't received it in a very long time, I will just have you contact support, create a ticket, and they will get you straightened away, because this happens to some people. There's just some sort of blockage between the update and your machine.
Right.
If everything's connected normally, they'll just let you know.
Mm-hmm.
So go to our website, go to, the support tab,
Yep.
and it'll just open up a ticket. You write in your information. It's the fastest way to get any response from support.
Yeah, and they'll usually reach out to you pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, very quickly. Any more questions from the...
I think that is about it.
That's
at
it?
the moment. I can't scroll up because I left the stream to go to the QR, but that was the last one that I had seen.
Okay.
So
Thank you guys for watching. Again, as always, if you have any suggestions, anything you want to learn more about, let's say you want to do a crazy bent acrylic project, hey guys, please let us know, or show us how to do bending of acrylics. I think
we're bending of PETG
PETG, the PETG,
because it
which
bends
is
way better than acrylic.
it's a really cool material. It's actually made for vacuum forming, and I've been looking for it, and I stumbled upon it. You know, typically I'm like, oh man, I know everything, right? And then, but I found this stuff.
See, that was my whole issue with the whole Walker is the smartest.
Oh yeah.
Comment. You're just so smart.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's you get to a point, right? You get to a point. You can only cap out so high.
We can just say between Walker and I, we know everything. And then
Yeah.
if you ask me something I don't know, I'll just be like, "That's one Walker knows."
Yeah, it's a relationship thing. It's a good relationship. But no, that material is really cool. Again, it's sold out everywhere because everybody with a laser is helping with the situation going on. They're also creating masks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mortimer over here is wearing, just to stay safe. So if you guys want to help out with your local community, if that's the situation, definitely there's some awesome free files online for that.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I mean, we could talk anything. Anything you guys want, we're up for suggestions.
Yeah, especially now that we're doing shows every other week, which I know some people are a little bummed about, but it just gives us so much more time to kind of take in the feedback and make just a much more focused episode.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of nice.
And if you guys have a suggestion for a whole, I think segment, like, hey, I want to see you guys run a laser live, you know, something like that, or design live, or whatever it may be, we'll make it happen for you.
Absolutely.
So to all of our friends and family, stay safe, stay focused, and
Keep making.
Hey there guys, thanks for watching. If you click here, you can subscribe to our channel, or if you click over this way, you can check out some other videos that we've...